said,
What did he say?
dude, he was all in.
So he gave us the statute and everything. He says you're not allowed to take photos.
Yeah.
This emergency revised statute.
He said from this road all the way, you can't stop. You can't take pictures of the ocean. You can't take any pictures. Yeah. He said this.
Why? Yeah, like
Where does the website tell us that this is the part?
no photos of the ocean or whatnot.
Yeah, they don't want nobody stopping them with scientific photos.
Got it. Does the website show us that? I understand not having people stop. You know, that's one thing. For that law, or
Not, I don't believe it does.
He said from this road all the way that way. He goes, it's all military, National Guard checkpoints.
There's a checkpoint, National Guard checkpoint.
okay.
You can try and check in over there and see if they'll allow you guys in there.
All right, so you're looking at Lahaina right there, downtown Lahaina. This is the zone where we're not allowed to photograph. The police officer telling me that I'm not supposed to be doing this. I could be arrested for doing this right now. I'm not supposed to be filming, but we are filming because we have first right to film. Now, we talked to two members of the National Guard using a hidden camera, and the first guardsman said the cops don't know what they're talking about, that we can, in fact, film.
What's your name?
Chase.
Chase.
Yeah, actually.
Are you guys like police or
It's just National Guard.
the National Guard?
Yeah,
They brought the National Guard in?
yeah.
Why did this happen?
A few weeks ago, I had a storm. It was all wind, heavy wind. So outside, everything was catching.
What about the sirens? Did those work?
Sirens, no, the sirens wasn't going on.
Wasn't?
I'm not too sure.
Why not?
I'm not too sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of big deal with
How many people died?
a lot. It's bad.
Wow.
So most of Lahaina is all shut down on this side right now
It's all shut down? Why is that?
because of the fire. 80-90% of Lahaina.
We was taking a picture with him on the ocean, and some state trooper said, "Oh, you can't do that. You can't take a picture." You know what I mean?
Anybody can take pictures. No one can stop you guys from taking pictures.
Well, he's like, "So we're gonna get arrested if you take a picture." I was just taking a picture of my buddy in front of the ocean.
Yeah, it's sensitive this right now. With everybody.
It's like, how does that work with like the First Amendment and stuff like that?
Like no one can stop you from taking a picture. But there's a lot of people that's gonna try to be like,
He says we were gonna get arrested if we take a picture.
pushing up in the chest.
We pulled off to the side of the road and spoke with a deputy sheriff. He got rather invasive in the vehicle. I showed him the revised statute, and he told us again that we cannot record. Can we take a picture?
Here?
Yeah,
Not really. We're trying to keep people off the bypass.
or just on the road.
Sorry.
I'm a little confused because earlier the officer said we couldn't, but we checked with the National Guard and they said that we could. So what is the reason that we can't take a picture?
But it's part of the emergency proclamation that this whole area is being under the part of that area.
Why couldn't you take a picture?
Emergency period infractions, violations, misdemeanors, and misdemeanors.
Because it's saying you can take photos. Well, it's saying that you're not supposed to park over here. So if you guys park here, that's like in violation.
All right. He got rather invasive the vehicle.
He's like leaning all the way into his car.
Officer W. Akua. He was too close for comfort. I was making sure. Now we spoke to another guardsman again. I was using the hidden camera, button camera. The second guardsman said that the police are, quote, assholes for telling us that we cannot record. Are we not allowed to take pictures? It's not a thing. It's not a thing? Well, the cops were like threatening to arrest me.
Oh. Well, my guess is it is illegal to stop on the side of the expressway. I'm assuming that is still a law. But yeah, it's like what's the saying? What's the famous saying? You know, if you give people emergency unprecedented authority, they'll if you give people, what's the saying? If you give people unprecedented authority due to emergency, they'll create emergency to get unprecedented authority or something like that. By the way, while you're tuned in, if you'll allow, I know I already shouted out my coffee company, but I do want to make sure if you're watching me, if you're enjoying it, I stream every single day from 12 to 2. So I'm about at the end of my time slot here. But if you aren't following me already, please do click that follow button if it's green down below here. Also, if you can, click the thumbs up button below the video. If you're watching, you don't have a Rumble account, please create one and get involved in the chat. Like, my chat is great. I read you don't have to do Rumble rants for me to read your chats. I read my chat all the time. I'm right in front of me, so I'm reading it because your feedback and your opinions matter to me, and I really, really appreciate so many people tuning in today. You can support the channel if you like what I do by clicking the join button down below the video. It's obviously not required, but it's $5 a month. It's the cost of a cup of coffee. It helps offset. I've got 2 full-time video editors plus a graphics design person, and it helps insulate against, being canceled and ad apocalypse and stuff like that. I know it's a pain in the ass. You don't have to do it, but it does go a long way if you click that support button.
That guardsman himself is a police officer from Honolulu.
He's like, oh, there's an emergency law. You can't do that. We'll arrest you. Ask him for the law. He said it was some statute, revised statute.
I'm a policeman.
Really? He said the governor declared an emergency. Okay.
You can always say the statute for you.
He said
It's 127A.
Like, what happened here?
Some kind of fire happened and the winds were crazy that day, so we just carried on.
Thank you, PJ Report. Appreciate you.
A lot of people died. I thought he was saying that people are missing still. Unaccounted for. Does that mean
Most of them,
what's that?
the bodies that we had cremated was us. So it's hard to get the DNA off. We're sort of holding the scenes in a way. The dogs
Thanks, Dragan.
try to get a scent and then they run the DNA.
Glad you like the show.
Oh wow, wow, yeah. And then like how many people do you think it is?
Oh,
1,000? Is the media telling us the truth?
I don't watch the news.
So we have conflicting reports between the sheriff and the police and the National Guard. One of the National Guardsmen being a police officer here in Lahaina, clearly a violation of the First Amendment.
Thank you, Sensei.
If we want to stop and do like a news report on the side of the road, they won't allow us to. You would be able to do it where it's not in front of the burn zone.
So I spoke with the Maui Police Department here wearing a hidden camera and asked, how is any of this compatible with the First Amendment? The officer gave me a very strange reply saying, well, you could record, but you can't record. I asked the police officer, how is this compatible with the First Amendment?
Why not in front of the burn zone? Because usually that's the perimeter where the shutdown. I don't know if there's anything set up for journalists. You can record whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
But if you're stopping inside of the burn zone, you're because of
The burn zone.
Well, yeah, I don't want to rob him of the full video, so you should watch it on his Twitter account. It's his pinned comment. Dragon45, thank you for the rumble rap. Keep up the good work. I hope you all enjoyed the show. I hope that you'll give Coffee Brand Coffee a try. We're a small business. We just hit our 1-year anniversary. We have gift boxes for the Christmas season that sell out like crazy every
I'll
time
steal
we
his
gift
shit.
boxes. So we're gonna have your Christmas covered, Mother's Day, Father's Day. But we also have 20, 30 different kinds of coffee, a dozen organic teas, real cacao cocoa. This is my cancel-proof business. That and joining my locals. So if you want to support and get something for it, check out coffeebrandcoffee.com. That's me. I stream Monday through Friday, 12 to 2 every single day, every single week. I'm here with you for your lunch hour or whatever time it is where you're at. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. I've got to run downstairs. I've got contractors that need to talk to me. So thank you all so much. Make sure you follow, and we'll see you Monday at noon.
is this guy doing? Oh, I know that feeling sucks though. You got a vehicle that won't even go highway speed. Something's going on with it. Yeah, same shit happened to me right here in fucking Cleveland before, about 15 years ago. No worries, Jared. I appreciate it, Chopper. Just trying to keep an eye on the road here. Lots of traffic. Love leaving the city during rush hour. It's always fun. Out of your house.
Greetings, everyone. This is Jeff with Ontario Civil Rights Investigations. I will be your civil rights investigator for the day. Today is Tuesday, September 5th, 2023, 12:52 p.m. I'm standing here in Columbus, Georgia, outside of the Columbus, Georgia City Hall. And you can see it says public access right there. So I'm just going to go right down here where it says public access. And I'm going to spread this message. I'm going to solicit compassion, love, and prayers for our homeless veterans. And I'll just stand right down there, probably stand over there. Right over there where that tree's at. There's some shade. If I stand in that spot, I might be able to say God bless them. Spread this message to everybody.
Okay.
Right down here. All right, let's see how this goes. God bless our homeless vets.
Damn tree rats.
I'm soliciting, that's all.
I'm sorry,
Yeah, I'm soliciting.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm soliciting.
Are you soliciting?
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do it here.
Oh, okay.
We're trying to find. Now, I put on the sidewalk, I know, it's, but this right here is considered guard line.
Where's the guard line?
Hmm?
Where's the guard line started?
Well, it actually starts anytime you're around the government building.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people go up here like on the sidewalk. Because the sidewalk is a public policy.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know if you can do it here in this particular area.
Is that considered a sidewalk up there?
Well, up to the very end. So anything in this area under this covered area here, so anything where the checkpoint and you have guard,
Yeah. I'm not going to go in there.
but don't think you can do it here. Up here, workers coming in, down there, or up here, or anywhere around the building.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do whatever, but they don't allow them in this.
Oh. Yeah, I'm just going to hang out right over here in this area.
But I don't know if it's legal.
Okay. Well,
Huh?
I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, well, what we're gonna do is say, we're gonna find, I mean, I'm calling somebody, but I want to see if you were soliciting, if you were soliciting, then, but if you're soliciting for funds, then that's called pandering, that's what we're called.
So if it was just saying God bless homeless veterans, it'd be okay.
It was,
If it was just somebody saying God bless homeless veterans, that'd be okay.
I don't think, I'll do myself, if you're not asking for funds, or if you're taking money.
I was soliciting.
If you're soliciting for money, then I think it's wrong, because there is a pandering. I don't know if you knew that.
Panhandling is free speech. Panhandling is free speech. It's considered free speech. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. God bless homeless veterans. How you doing, sir? God bless homeless veterans. Oh, I appreciate that. I'm not asking for money. I'm just not focusing on God bless you.
Oh,
That's very kind. God bless you.
okay, cool.
How you doing, sir? God bless her. No, sir. No, I just like to come out and wish them, solicit goodwill and compassion for the homeless vets and prayers. Yes, sir. Hey, yes, sir.
I said, if you don't mind, if you I don't have a problem with you holding your sign, but if you can stand out there by the traffic light, that'd be best, okay? Because we don't want to get no offense. Sir, if you
Hey,
don't mind,
yes, sir.
I said, if you don't mind, if you can, I don't have a problem with you holding your sign, but if you can stand out there by the traffic light, that'd be best, okay? Because we don't want to get no offense.
This is public access.
I understand that.
Right.
That's why I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
As you know, I understand what you're doing.
Right.
But if you don't mind, please just move up there.
I'd rather not. I'd rather stand here because I've got more people like me.
What's your name?
My name's Jeff.
Jeff.
I'd rather not get my last name.
You rather not get your last name?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Deputy McGee.
Deputy
Okay.
McGee. That's
How you
fine.
doing? Deputy Edgeworth. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Deputy McGee.
Okay, but you know, if we don't want no confrontation.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not getting any kind of
Okay.
confrontation. I'm not being, I'm not stopping anybody or anything like that. Just
Okay.
God bless the homeless veterans.
All right. And who you represent?
I come out in public and do this.
Okay, what church you belong to?
I belong to Anastasia Baptist Church.
Where's it at?
St. Augustine.
St. Augustine,
Yeah.
Florida?
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. How long you been up here?
About 20 minutes.
About 20 minutes. How'd you get up here?
I'll just visit.
You visit? All right. All right, so, like I said, if you don't mind, just,
I'd rather stay.
okay. All right, okay.
Is that cool? Is that fine? You run off or trespassing, anything like that. They said if you don't mind, go stand somewhere else, which is pretty typical. If they see something they think is icky or gross or unappealing, they'll try to run you off. Sometimes they'll arrest you like they've done to me before. But you see the sign right here. It says public forum at the entrance to City Hall down there. And I was able to spread this message of God bless our homeless veterans, soliciting compassion and prayers for our homeless vets. And honor your oath out.
Good shit. I love it when he gets them twisted up again. Live again, yeah. What the hell? I'm gonna use his Doc Nation name a bit. Lots of traffic. Leaving Cleveland right at rush hour, so. It's exit only. Might have to get over a little bit here. Just be safe. Don't want to get forced off at Snow Road.
What's going on, everybody? Soliak here. And did you not hear? Check this clip out.
A Palm Beach Gardens police officer has been fired from her job following a months-long investigation. Police say Officer Bethany Guerrero was fired for her behavior during a response to a disturbance call involving a firearm. As of August 25th, she no longer works for the city.
And yes, the officer, she got fired. But the body cam that we're about to watch, I don't understand it. So I'm not going to take all the credit for this. Go over to Lackluster channel. Links are in the description. Let him know the Armed Fisherman sent you. Watch his investigative video. Amazing work. But probably tomorrow, the next day, I'm going to release the full body cam. No interruptions. Just let that thing run. And that way you can actually see exactly everything that happened with the officer. But what we're about to watch is the guy that brandished his firearm and didn't end up in jail. I don't know how this happened. I really don't. This guy even right now, there's probably a statute of limitations, and I hope they go after him. Because I think I'm glad she lost her job, but this guy, this guy needs to friggin' be locked up or at least something. But all right, let's get into this video. You know the deal. Don't forget, hit that like, share, and that subscribe button. Make sure you go over to Lackluster, let them know the Armed Fisherman sent you. Let's get into it. Soliaker, deuces.
So, I spoke with that gentleman that I spoke to. I'm trying to understand exactly what happened, but yet, can you explain to me from your perspective what happened? I mean, I think I already explained it. From the time that you got the phone call from your wife, she calls you, hey, I'm in an argument over here with so-and-so. She said, can you come help? What happened? She said that he was harassing. Okay, so what happened? You came over here and what? Where else you located where you came in? Okay, and where was your wife at? Okay, so you're in that corner and he's in that corner. Okay, so what happened from there? Like I said, I think we started screaming, all was messed up, we started, I think it's messed up, and started walking towards her. Hold on now. He started screaming. He really started screaming as soon as he got out of the pool. So he got here. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm like almost 70 seconds. No problem. If I rescue a hold on for you for me to check out, just whenever you're ready. I'm just trying to understand everybody's side of what happened. So he gets out of the pool. He's in that corner. You come in here, and then what happened? He started screaming, he started getting closer, he started calling him his fist. So he's walking towards you. Yes. Okay. And I think that my wife got closer to him, and I tried to insert myself. Okay. So at that point, we were maybe like 4 or 5 feet apart. Okay. At what point in time did you pull up your shirt? Somewhere there.
Yeah, Vicky's still there. Jesus. Car behind me was not going to let me over. He's not even getting off the fucking... What an idiot.
And look at this. Every video that I put out on my channel, automatically yellow. Every single one automatically yellow, throttled every single time. So it's all has to go into manual review. Takes who knows how many days, all because of the content. It's exposing things, right? It's exposing government, exposing the violence, exposing people being abused. I actually got 3 different videos, the exact same content, small minor adjustments to blur and mute audio, and each one's in manual review. One's been in there for 3 weeks now. And that's when it's actually the edited versions. It's ridiculous. So this is the crap that YouTube does to throttle channels like mine that want to expose police violence, government overreach. But you know, instant. See how long it takes this one to go green. And look at this. Every video that I put out on my channel, automatically yellow.
every single one automatically yellow, throttled every single time. So it's all has to go into manual review. It takes who knows how many days. Check this out. Give me some volume on this.
In the summer 2015, tiny homeless man confessed to shocking life story to me. And then only a week later, he'd be killed. My name's Dave Music. I'm a retired police officer. I work in the city of Aventura. And I became friends with a homeless man named Richard Flaherty. Richard was only 4'9", 97 pounds. So in the summer of 2015, while I was sitting at a Subway sandwich shop with Richard, he decided to tell me his life story. He just said, Dave, it's time. So he said, I was the smallest man to have served in the U.S. military. I became an officer in the Army, a Green Beret captain in Special Forces. I served in Vietnam with the 101st Airborne and the 3rd Special Forces Group. At the end of his 2 tours, he had a Silver Star, 2 Bronze Stars, and 2 Purple Hearts, among a whole bunch of other medals and commendations he received.
Check this out. Give me some volume on this.
Videos of exposure. Remember the video that Mike Lang filmed here in West Virginia of a cop overdosing, actually 2 cops overdosing, after a suspect allegedly threw fentanyl in a cop's face.
We know the rules. I'm out of the scene. I'm out of the scene.
Up to that light pole right there, this whole area right here. You got to open everything. Go. Get ready to go now. Go up there now. It's getting ready to be taped off. Go up there now. Get in your car and go up there.
It was a big deal here, and the guy was charged with attempted murder of 2 police officers. Well, there's a huge update, and you may or may not be surprised. This hasn't even been in the news yet. This is basically breaking news here on the Civil Rights Lawyer channel. Basically, the criminal case is now over. The tox reports came back on the cops. We now know.
Cataracts.
Stay hopeless. But first, I want to thank the sponsor of this video.
No, it's probably bug guts.
Time to buy. It's Ridge is currently running a summer sweepstakes with a chance to win a brand new, upgraded Hennessy Ford Bronco, or $75,000 if you prefer cash. You'll also get 10 bonus entries as well as 10% off from using our link in the description. Use ridge.com/TCRL and you'll get 10 bonus entries. And if you use my code TCRL at checkout, you'll get 10% off. We've all seen the constant posts on social media about rewards for lost wallets. Ridge Wallet offers a smart wallet solution so you'll never have to worry about them. The AirTag attachment simply attaches to your wallet to securely store your hard-earned cash. Using either the AirTag money clip or the cash strap, you can literally just track it and find it with your phone. They also offer an enhanced version with a carbon fiber cap to cover the white AirTag if you prefer a more sophisticated look. This wallet has over 80,000 5-star reviews. Ridge is so confident that you'll like it, they'll give you a test drive for 99 days, and you can send it back for a full refund if you don't love it. Each wallet comes with a lifetime warranty. Again, use my link at ridge.com/TCRL and you'll get 10% off. Or just go there and enter to win the Hennessy Bronco. Thanks again to Ridge for sponsoring this video and the channel. Now back to our video. This was the press release from the Fayette County Sheriff back in September of 2022. The subject reached into his pocket, ripped open a bag believed to be opiate narcotics in powder form, and threw it into the officers' faces. The officers were able to get the subject into custody, at which time one of the officers collapsed and began actively overdosing. Shortly after, the second officer began to exhibit symptoms of the same. Thankfully, an off-duty nurse was passing by at the time and helped to render aid and administer Narcan, which ultimately saved the lives of these officers. Now I have access to the entire criminal case file, including the never-before-seen body cam footage of this incident. But let's start with the original charge document. I believe the same officer who says that he doesn't care about the First Amendment. He charged them, this defendant, with 2 counts of attempted murder of both of these police officers. This was the narrative that went along with those charges. While conducting the investigation, the suspect, later identified as Keith Adams from Statesville, North Carolina, fled the traffic stop and ignored repeated commands to stop resisting. Keith Adams opened the plastic bag, purposely exposing Schedule 1 controls that incapacitated, including but not limited to arrest and even And then boom, it was all over the net. And attempted to roast officers by exposing them to things happened to be coming. Dodgeville stated during the arrest that they gave multiple commands to the suspect to stop resisting. The suspect was able to grab a plastic bag containing what they believed to be suspected narcotics. Corporal Hogan and PFC Dodgeville made several commands to drop the bag, and the suspect tore open the bag, placed the bag in the face of PFC Dodgeville, and then
he's exiting. 30-mile-an-hour exit. Go ahead, dude. Go from 80 to 30.
Corporal Hogan and PFC Dodgeville was able to get handcuffs on the suspect, and both officers fell ill and was incapacitated by the exposure, and EMS was requested. While waiting on the EMS to arrive on scene, an off-duty nurse driving by at the time stopped and rendered aid by administered several doses of Narcan. The symptoms PFC Dodgeville and Corporal Hogan experienced were indicative of opioid exposure, and that's it. So in the final report, they're not saying that conclusively there was any opioid exposure or overdose by the officers. They just say that Narcan, that they were exposed, that Narcan was administered, and that they were indicative. Oddly, nothing else is mentioned in there, no other specifics, including the toxicology reports from the police that were not mentioned at all in this report. I wonder why they would do that. Nor did they mention that the police officers involved admitted that what really happened is the female cop tased the male cop. That's what he was experiencing. They didn't mention any of that in the report. But let's take a look at the officers' explanations of what happened, their reports. Okay, here's the police report written by Corporal T.M. Hogan of the Oak Hill Police Department, and that is, I believe, the female police officer. As soon as I started sprinting over to assist PFC Dodgeville, the male subject driving left the area. When I got to PFC Dodgeville, the male subject was not listening to any commands he was being given. He had several large baggies and a green bag in his hands. These bags were filled with powder substances. While attempting to put this subject in handcuffs with PFC Dodgeville, this subject began squeezing and intentionally breaking open the bags of the powder substance, getting this powder substance in the area of us on the roadway. This male subject had one handcuff on while we were attempting to cuff this subject. While still attempting to take this subject into custody, I tasted something chalky in my mouth and spit it out. I discovered several baggies had fallen out of this green bag, and I sat some to the side to avoid contact with these substances. The subject then bit PFC Dodgeville's arm while still being combative. PFC Dodgeville then moved away from this subject while I was still attempting to apprehend this subject completely. PFC Dodgeville appeared to be very dizzy and was struggling to stand up straight. PFC Dodgeville then removed his baton and began striking this subject's arm in an attempt for me to gain control on this male subject. He would still not let go of the powder bag and green bag or comply with orders given. PFC Dodgeville then advised me to tase this subject again. I then got my taser, which had fallen under the subject during this struggle. After locating it, I turned it on and squeezed the trigger to release the taser barbs. The barbs in my taser would not come out. It appeared to be jammed. I squeezed the trigger on my taser approximately 5 times. My prongs would not release out of it. While squeezing it, it kept doing the drive stun feature and would not release the barbs. I turned this taser off and went to holster it, at which point one barb came out, striking PFC Dodgeville, that would be the other police officer, in the lower leg area. I then turned this taser back on and back off, and it went off completely. I attempted to tase the subject several times before putting it away. I then began to attempt to apprehend this subject again. This subject was then put into handcuffs in the front. PFC Dodgeville was standing up and told me he thinks he is overdosing. So that's her story, which she just sort of casually mentions that she had tased the other police officer, and now he's having these symptoms. Of course, it's the opiate exposure. Yeah. And then we have the statement from the other officer, the male officer. And he says this: I chased after him, giving several commands to stop, and deployed a single shot from my taser, striking him in the back. This caused him to fall face forward onto the pavement. When the taser cycle stopped, he immediately attempted to get up. I deployed another shot from the taser into his back. I noticed the vehicle was moving and was fleeing the traffic stop as well. I radioed Officer Hogan that he was running, and I attempted to take the subject into custody. He refused to comply with orders and kept attempting to reach in his bag. I was able to secure his arms away from the bag. I was unable to handcuff him as he kept reaching in the bag, thinking he may have a firearm. I secured his arms and I yelled at Officer Hogan that I needed assistance, and she came to assist. Boy, did she. The subject was fighting to get away the entire time and continually tired, thinking and tried to get into his bag. I was able to get handcuffs on his left arm, but then he pulled away with the handcuffs still attached. He was able to remove a bag of wild, I think he meant white, powder and tore it open. While he had the bag in his hand, my head was in the immediate area, and he began to deliberately squeeze the bag, making contents come out on me. I was unable to move away and had inhaled some of it. The subject intentionally bit my left upper arm and lower arm while attempting to detain him. Officer Hogan was still attempting to get him in handcuffs, but I had moved away to get out of the powder. I then removed my baton from the holder and began striking the subject in the left arm and lower torso in an attempt for Officer Hogan to gain control of it. Jesus, don't they even teach anything about grammar of sentences in police academy? I mean, come on. Of the hands so we could secure him in handcuffs. I began feeling lightheaded. I remember telling Officer Hogan to use her taser. Mine was out of cartridges and the taser was lying on the ground. Big mistake. I don't remember anything else during the event with Mr. Adams. After asking his female police partner to use her taser, he doesn't remember anything else. The next thing I remember, I was being inside a EMS unit. So that's his story. And he doesn't admit that the female cop tased him. He just asked her to use her taser, and then he basically went black. He doesn't remember anything else after that. So that's what they said happened back then. That was in September of 2022. Now we can fast forward to the present day. What's the update? What happened? Well, guess what? All the state criminal charges were dropped. We just listened to the police reports of both those police officers and how many state law crimes did they allege. This guy bit a cop, attacked a cop. He did all sorts of stuff. You name it. He should be spending the rest of his life in prison, right? If everything they said is true. And then, not to mention, he attempted to murder two cops, caused them both to overdose, and they would have died, but not for a nurse coming by with some narcotics. So those were a lot of crimes that were left. But guess what? The prosecutor dropped all the charges. Dropped all of them.
That wasn't your connection, man. That was a bad area.
Everything is one. We have the civilrightslawyer.com. Now, why did he do that? Well, he doesn't say in the dismissal order. All it says is, well, the feds are going to pick up on the drugs. It doesn't say anything about the real reason that they're dropping all these state charges. Well, the real reason is that the toxicology reports on the police came back, and guess what? Now, I don't have these. I don't have the physical documents because they were sealed in the criminal case, not surprising. I have it on the best authority that the toxicology reports came back on these two cops, and guess what? No opiates whatsoever. They did not overdose. This was all just a big hoax. So they did, not only did they not drop the charges for attempted murder, which were bogus, they didn't charge him with biting cops, with pretty much everything that they alleged here. I'll put the raw footage that you can see of the violence that YouTube is not going to let me show. I'll put it at the blog so you can watch it yourself. And then you can read those police reports, which I'll also post, and you can see if they match up to you. Was this guy fighting and attacking the cops, or were they just beating on him and tasing him and tasing each other? I would submit to you that the video footage shows something that looks much more like the latter version of events. And just to be sure, I went and pulled the federal indictment off of Pacer, and all the guys charged with are the federal drug possession crimes under federal law. There are no allegations being brought up in federal court that this guy had attacked these police officers in any way. So all those charges, they were all dropped because it didn't happen. So here's what's happening now. Sort of like I called it from the beginning, this was not a case of a guy throwing fentanyl into the faces of police officers and then causing them to overdose. This is just your plain old story of police officers using excessive force against somebody, coupled with this hysteria that's gone around the country in recent years of police officers thinking that they're overdosing on something for some reason. Where does this end up now? Well, this guy he was seriously injured as a result of the beating and tasing that he suffered at the hands of police officers. And again, you can look at the video and judge it for yourself. But this guy does not appear to be fighting them or really resisting them at all. They're just flipping out on him, and they're hitting him, and they're tasing him. And again, so tasing each other. And this guy did then receive documented medical injuries, unlike these police officers. So I do believe, I'm still investigating, but I believe that there is an excessive force case here. And apparently this guy is interested in having me represent him and file a federal civil rights lawsuit for the excessive force. And again, the issue is not whether he had illegal drugs or whether he's in trouble for that now in federal court. The issue was excessive force used on him? And I guess there's also a secondary issue here. Is there some sort of constitutional liability here for the false accusations that he had attempted to kill 2 police officers, and it was put all in the media, and he was prosecuted for a year over that, and it turns out those charges were completely bogus. So I'll definitely be looking into that, some Fourth Amendment aspects to it. So I'm going to go through the body cam footage. I've got all the body cam footage now, so I would be looking for some update videos on this with some of the additional footage, some of the body cam footage that's never been released. I'm still going through it. There's actually a lot there. So make sure to subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. And then there's also the aspect of my client who was filming this, and where his First Amendment rights violated when he's standing well away from the situation. And thankfully he was filming it, because that's one of the reasons that this guy was exonerated from this, is that there was a citizen filming what happened. Otherwise, who knows what would have happened. So as always, thanks for watching. Remember, freedom is scary. Deal with it. I'll see you next time.
Sweet. Dankula. All right. There we go.
Art, a representation of talent, intellect, and most importantly, culture. There was a time where you couldn't walk the streets without seeing beautiful architecture, monuments, carvings, and statues that conveyed a sense of beauty and pride in one's culture and people. Then there are the other kinds of art. Art that is made as a joke, and since it's a joke, it does get a pass. Art that is made to essentially launder money, or art that is absolutely tantalus garbage that a mentally deficient chimpanzee could have made, and you just don't understand it because you're not cultured enough. So let's have a look at some dumb art.
Please leave a like and a comment on this video, because it really helps me in the algorithm.
But before we get started, this video is brought to you by Fume. Fume is an award-nominated device that is all about helping you break your bad habits in an innovative way. But breaking a bad habit doesn't have to be an uncomfortable or a drastic change, so Fume is here to remove the bad from the habit. Instead of using electronics and annoying people with giant flavoured clouds, Fume is completely natural and instead uses flavoured air. Not only is the air flavoured, it is made using all natural, delicious flavours that contain no harmful chemicals. So Fume really is all good with no bad sides. You can simply enjoy your habit guilt-free and replace your old bad habits easily. Your Fume will also come with an adjustable airflow dial that is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers something to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. After trying Fume myself, I was honestly very surprised at how flavourful it is. It feels very fresh and the moving parts are great for helping to fight stress, and I've been feeling great since using it. Stopping is something that we all put off because it's hard, but switching to Fume is easy, enjoyable and even fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be. Fume has also released some new flavour cores. These cores include orange vanilla, raspberry lemon and sparkling grapefruit. I've had a chance to try all three of these flavours and they are all delicious. The orange vanilla flavour is sweet and citrusy with a touch of classic vanilla. The raspberry lemon flavour is full-bodied lemonade with a hint of berries. And the sparkling grapefruit flavour is a fresh and cooling fruity grapefruit. So join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. So head to tryfume.com/Dankula or scan the QR code on the screen and use code Dankula to get 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfume.com and use code Dankula to save an additional 10% off your order. Now, I like art as much as the next man. It requires passion, skill and meaning. Though in the modern day, people are told that anyone can be an artist. I mean, yeah, absolutely, you can give it a go. Everyone can produce art, but not everyone can produce good art. Some people are naturals, some need a little bit of practice, and others are a lost cause. Today, we are not talking about good art. We are talking about art that barely deserves the title, or art that was done as a joke. The kind of lazy work that modern artists put out, hoping to make some easy cash. You won't see many examples of works like David by Michelangelo in a modern art exhibit. You're more likely to see something like this, where once we had absolutely amazing detail to such a level that it inspired awe, we now have this dick-faced monstrosity. Trolling can be an art form in itself, but it still requires a level of skill and consistency similar to any other art, with the exception of humour. But sometimes the art world will eat up any old rubbish anyway, and in some cases they literally did. Before I go into the art, I need to explain what Dadaism is, since it relates to many controversial and wacky artists that are going to be mentioned in this video. Dadaism was an art movement that began in Europe during the early 20th century as a reaction to the horrific experiences of World War I. Dadaists rejected the logic, rationality and aestheticism of modern society, instead expressing nonsense, irrationality and anti-bourgeois protest in their works. Dadaism was about rejecting standard art and creating things that were meant to shock and provoke. Dadaists believed that the world had been made insane by war, so their art should be just as insane. They rejected traditional forms of art such as painting and sculpture in favour of more experimental forms, including music. Dadaist works often feature nonsensical images, absurd juxtapositions, and random words and phrases. There was a couple of theories as to how the movement got its name. Some believed it was randomly selected by Richard Rosenbeck when he slid a letter opener into a dictionary and chose whatever word that the point was pointing at. Others believe it was based on the first word that many children speak, but most people believe that it's just as nonsensical as the movement itself and has no meaning whatsoever. One of the more recent incidents involving this movement that many of you may already know about involved a banana at Art Basel in Miami Beach. An artist duct taped a banana to a wall and titled the piece "Comedian." Maybe because none of this can or should be taken seriously. Many people found it extremely hard to consider this art, and they were especially confused when the piece sold for $120,000. The piece was made by the Italian artist Maurizio Catalan, who was previously known for creating an 18-carat gold toilet with a value of $6 million, which was later stolen from the Blenheim Palace and still hasn't been found to this day. It's probably been melted down and used for a better purpose. But back to the banana. During the exhibit, another artist walked up to the art piece, removed the duct tape, and proceeded to confidently start eating the banana in front of all of the shocked attendees. The artist was David DeTuna, a performance artist from Georgia, and when he was asked if he felt bad about vandalizing another artist's work, he simply said, "It wasn't vandalism, it was an art performance from me, and I absolutely am not sorry." He even went on to tell them that he had titled this new piece Hungry Artist. And when he was asked why he did it, he said, "Because I was hungry and I just ate it." There is some level of absolute Chad behaviour in there, especially since the original piece, let's face it, was pointless, overpriced shite that had absolutely no meaning. So this guy decided to joke on the possible joke. Maybe this was all set up as one big long game art performance, but I hope it wasn't, because there's something extremely funny about an artist sitting there crying, watching some shit poster eating his £120,000 banana art piece. A well-known Dada artist by the name of Marcel Duchamp had gone to a plumbing store and bought a porcelain toilet. He took it home and did some very, very minor modifications to it. He wrote Armut 1917 on the side and then titled it Fountain. This kind of art is called ready-made art, which is exactly as it sounds. An artist will buy something pre-made by someone else and then modify it very slightly, which, according to artists, makes it new art. Sometimes enough changes are made to actually make it something new, but in most cases, it's borderline just selling someone else's work. He was known for doing things out of the ordinary and sometimes almost childish, like when he made a parody of the Mona Lisa where he just simply added the detail of giving her a moustache. There is a more technical term for this type of art, and it's called being fucking lazy. One of the more funny antics that Duchamp did was design exhibits in a way to make it harder or more dangerous for the viewers. In 1938, he hung coal bags from the ceiling that were full of newspapers, which was deemed a pretty major fire hazard. And not only that, he made the inside of the exhibit pitch black, so people had to use lit torches to view the art pieces, which is that's so fucking dangerous. But then later in 1942 at the Philadelphia Museum of Art, he made an art piece out of the entire gallery by forcing people to climb through what can only be described as the aftermath of Spider-Man having a wank. These are obviously much more of a trope, so I have a lot more respect for these ones. Maybe not so much the whole coal bag thing, because, you know, I'm down for trolling, but not to a point where it can get everyone killed in a fire. Our next artist is the Charlie Zelenoff of art, where she thinks she's amazing at it, but she's actually shit and no one
Banana.
Yoko Ono. Now, people say that Yoko's art is too simplistic or nonsensical, while others accuse her of just being an attention seeker. Some people have speculated that her work is specifically making fun of art in general, and that she is part of the Dada movement. So it would make sense that she would dabble in nonsensical art. In reality, it really isn't that deep. She's just fucking mental. There's just something wrong with her. She was the woman who destroyed the Beatles and also a once very entertaining YouTuber. While she does attempt to make more traditional kinds of art, she usually prefers performance art. And you're only getting one warning here. prepare your ears because you are going to absolutely love the beautiful tones that she belts out here. She has the voice of an angel, doesn't she? Now, screaming your lungs out down the microphone isn't all that controversial. I mean, it seems to be the go-to for a lot of modern-day feminists, but when she released her album, Season of Glass, people were rather shocked to see that she had used John Lennon's glasses on the cover. And it wasn't just a standard pair of glasses that looked like his. They were the pair covered in his blood from when he was assassinated. People were already pissed off at Yoko's antics throughout the years. After all, she did kill the Beatles, and they also believed that she was just coasting off of the Beatles' fame to make money. And this made a lot of people furious because not only was she still using John for financial gain long after his death, but also the fact that she was using those specific pair of glasses, well, that was just seen as very bad taste. But if we want to talk about bad taste album covers, then look no further than Dawn of the Black Hearts by Mayhem. Only Google that if you have a very strong stomach, and before you ask, yes, that is a real picture. In 2018, Latvian artist Arthur Berzinch did a shock performance art piece titled Eschatology, where a woman dressed in a white hazmat suit approaches two sitting performers and starts to cut pieces of skin from their backs with a scalpel. She then walks up to a frying pan and starts to cook the skin. And if this wasn't shocking enough for the people watching it on Facebook Live, yes, this was live streamed to the internet, the woman then starts to feed the performer's skin to themselves. So this art piece was performers eating their own cooked skin. For a short time, it went viral and many people complained about it. But so far, the artist said that he hasn't gotten into any legal trouble despite the controversy, and the police have not yet been in touch with him. Whether it's art or not is debatable, but they're all consenting adults, free to make their own extremely stupid decisions, but they definitely need therapy. As for the hidden meaning, the secret, do you see what the artist was trying to say here? You know, the hidden, one's never been established. Art gives a lot of people the excuse to do the really, really weird shit that they kind of get off on and want to do, but if they just go, it's art, they just kind of get a pass. And if you don't like it, well, you just don't understand art. Now for an artist that most of you have probably heard of, Banksy. Banksy used to be anti-establishment until the establishment adopted his views, so now technically he is pro-establishment. Some of his old pieces were purposely made to piss people off, mainly authority figures such as the police, government and celebrity. He took a jab at advertising and even started a temporary theme park called Dismaland, which was purposely made to be depressing. The exhibits contained a lot of social commentary about immigration, which you will all most likely disagree with because it lines up perfectly with the establishment's views. Have you seen the current state of immigration? I honestly have no fucking idea what Banksy's complaining about. But other social and political topics were also covered. The staff were told not to smile and to be as rude as they wanted to the park goers, which is really not an irregular experience in the UK. One of the most controversial exhibits that he had created was the car crash of Princess Diana, which he did in the style of a Disney fairy tale, which that was a little bit of a spicy meatball, but I mean, come on, that's quite funny. One of the exhibits is a riot van that was used during the IRA riots, and it had been converted into a water fountain with the water coming out of the water cannons that were used to knock down protesters. There is a short documentary about the park titled One Day in Disneyland, which I do recommend that you go and watch. Banksy also left an entire art auction in shock when his piece, Girl with Balloon, sold for just over £1 million. And it was then immediately shredded.
60,000. Last chance. Bastian will be bidding and selling for 860,000.
Banksy had actually built a custom frame with a remote controlled shredder built inside of it. So at the event, he anonymously hid in the audience and purposefully triggered the shredder right after it sold. Some might say that it was ruined, which seemed to be the intention, but of course, wanky art people all believe that the shredding itself was art too, and actually places a lot more value on the piece. I mean, that is some level of cope, but unfortunately, this act did actually raise the price of the piece, which was renamed to Love is in the Bin, and it sold again for £18.5 million. At this point, Banksy has become too much of a big name for any more IRL trolling, despite all of the theories to his identity, with some people thinking they actually managed to figure out who Banksy is. But they were very, very wrong. Because in 2022, someone spread a rumour that a local councillor for Pembroke Dock named Billy Gannon was Banksy. At first it was believed that the rumours would die down, but they didn't. In fact, the harassment of the councillor got so bad that he decided to quit the job. When he was questioned about this entire event, he said, "How am I supposed to prove that I'm not somebody who doesn't exist? Just how do you do that?" I know that every time Banksy gets mentioned in a video, I always give him shit. And it's because he is someone that I once massively respected and looked up to. I mean, I've got a fucking Banksy tattooed on me, for fuck's sake. But the reason I don't like him now is because I fell for his LARP. He's a LARPer. I mean, don't get me wrong, Disneyland and the shredding were incredibly funny, and a lot of his artwork is still very insightful. But with just a little bit of research, you can see that he is nowhere near as anti-government or anti-authoritarian as he makes himself out to be. He's one of those guys that I don't really believe in private property, man, and he's actually pro-authoritarian as long as it's the kind of authoritarianism that upholds his beliefs. He's basically your standard Twitter leftist or Reddit anarchist. He's a LARPer. Another artist was Damien Hirst, who sold a piece titled For the Love of God, which was apparently inspired
I just left. Heading home.
What he wanted to do next. The piece is a diamond-encrusted skull.
We got some biggies up ahead. I gotta slow down a little bit.
Is an art piece by a living artist. Hirst spent £12 million on the diamonds, and £3 million of that was spent on the larger diamond set in the forehead of the skull. The reason that this was seen as a troll was Hirst's attitude towards it, and that other artists and fans thought it was just a quick money grab for Hirst, and it contained no art at all. I mean, you can literally buy things like this for the gear stick in your car. It was also controversial because the skull isn't fake. It is a real human skull from the 18th century. Although, allow me to get a little bit artsy for a second and say that the piece was clearly made as a commentary on the pointlessness of wealth after death, or something like that. Others said that it was somehow a victory over decay, but I'm sure everyone has their own opinion on whatever poncy, artsy-fartsy message that this piece was supposed to convey. Or it could just be an extremely expensive skull and nothing else. Another art piece that sold for millions was called Ornament 6, or Ornament 6. I have no idea how it's pronounced and I don't care to find out. It was sold for $43.8 million at Sotheby's auction, and it was controversial because, like, what is that? Like, that's crap. That's terrible. I mean, at least you could pull some kind of meaning behind Damien Hirst's skull, but this was just a fraction better than the type of artwork that your child draws that you pretend to like. There was no talent or skill involved in this whatsoever. I could make this, which makes the ridiculous selling price even funnier.
Thank you very much indeed. $28 million.
And now for some smaller events that don't involve millions of dollars or famous artists. All they require is a gullible audience. In 2015 at Museone, a museum for modern and contemporary art in Bolzano, Italy, there was an installation by artists Sarah Goldschmied and Eleonora Chiari, which consisted of 300 empty wine bottles, cigarette butts, and confetti. So it looked just like the aftermath of a party or a soon-to-be cat lady's apartment. So it's no wonder that when the gallery cleaners came in without any knowledge of the exhibit and they were told to clean up, well, they did their job and they cleaned the room up. They literally thought the art was trash because it literally was just a pile of trash, and they threw it all in bags and threw it out. A 17-year-old prankster named TJ Kayatan put his friend's glasses on the floor of the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art after they started to question whether some of these exhibits should even be considered art. Of course, as soon as they saw the glasses, the mindless hordes of the gallery walked up and started to take pictures. What could this mean? Surely this says a lot about society. I think that the artist was trying to shut your fucking mouth. You know, the usual wanky things that come out of those pretentious arseholes' mouths. The glasses were eventually picked up by the friend who put them on and walked away while laughing. And the reaction of the onlookers was, you know, it was just priceless. There was this weird, awkward moment where people realised that they had just been bamboozled. That wasn't even the only time that gallery visitors were that gullible. Someone had dropped a single glove on the floor in New York's Museum of Modern Art, which wasn't even a prank. Someone had just genuinely, accidentally dropped their glove. Yet, that didn't stop the people in the gallery walking around the glove, cautiously admiring it and thinking it was an exhibit. You know, I can see here that the artist is trying to say that he's lost his fucking glove. I don't fucking know. This is how ridiculous modern art has gotten. I mean, see if you can't tell if something is art or not, then either it's shite art or it's just not art. Like, the fact that something as simple as this could be mistaken for modern art shows the problem with modern art. Modern art, if you've noticed this, is really easy to make. Have you noticed that? It requires, like, no talent or time to actually produce the stuff. You can literally drop a glove in the middle of the floor, which takes half a fucking second, and people will still consider that as modern art, which says a lot about modern art. Now, there is one kind of exhibit that shows up every now and then, and those exhibits involve showing off various piles of bricks in all shapes and sizes. Now, I'm just going to assume that this one is a troll. Maybe it was done for a bit of fun, maybe a little bit of irony about what counts as art these days, but some of the artists do seem pretty serious about it. Then again, a lot of modern art can seem that way since a lot of the time it is created through pure laziness. I mean, moving a few bricks into a square or another simple shape isn't exactly a hard day's graft, is it? And it also doesn't require the skill of a brickie who actually benefits the world with his creations. Modern art kind of has the same problem that a lot of us have on the internet, where you can't tell what's real and what's trolling since things have gotten so ridiculous it's now very difficult to tell them apart. The troll art is absolutely hilarious since it directly takes the piss out of modern art, so by all means please keep doing that. But as for actual genuine attempts at modern art, well, art or beauty is in the eye of the beholder, or
it's English
modern art stuff
with a Scottish accent.
I mean, I've been to the Louvre. I've stood in front of the Mona Lisa. I have sat an absolute fucking
Count Dankula
in front of Jacques Louis David's coronation of Napoleon that took him 3 years to complete. I've seen Giotto de Bondoni's St. Francis of Assisi receiving stigmata from all the way back when art was supposed to be reverence of what was being depicted and the time, effort and talent that went into making and immortalizing this person or event. What we have now is a bunch of attention whores who won't even try to learn basic art skills. They won't even dedicate more than half an hour to actually creating their art pieces. I mean,
Yeah, definitely going to be using the hot tub
some
tonight.
of this shit would take me 5 minutes. It would take me 5 minutes to fucking make this shit. They don't even care about what they're making. A single look at the shit they make can tell you that. They just want everyone to think that they're so deep and insightful and random lol raw XD, right? They're LARPers, right? They're little attention whores that are doing it either for attention or a quick payday, because there are some absolute fucking morons out there that will pay millions and millions of fucking pounds for something that literally can't be distinguished from literal trash. Classical art draws attention to what's important. Modern art draws attention to an artist who wishes they were important.
I don't know. Doesn't sound familiar. Dankula, Count Dankula. What the fuck? He likes to do his little Mad Lad documentaries. Oh, here comes the wife. Hello. Oh, she's in a bad area. There she is. Hello.
What up? Hello. What you doing?
45 minutes away.
45 minutes away
Yep.
from home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So am I. 45 minutes exactly.
Well, 46 minutes. Yeah. That's figured we'd be getting home close to about the same time. Are you still 45 minutes? Oh, you didn't leave right at 5?
No. About 5:15.
Alright. Who's director on call this weekend?
Corey. Corey and Kelly, because Corey's unavailable from like all day tomorrow, pretty much. Like, so it's Corey tonight, Kelly tomorrow, yeah, and then Corey on Sunday.
Cool.
But I'm on call for admissions, but as of right now, we only have one open bed. So.
Oh, you guys killed it. Is that why Josh has been so
Josh
quiet?
called. yeah. Well, I just talked to him. He called and congratulated me.
Cool. You're like, whatever happened to my cash card? Last time I did this.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like they took down the review, which I'm kind of pissed off that they did. Because I had a great AI-generated reply to it. Because he just doesn't understand. He's like, well, I want it to be perfect. I'm like, you don't want it to be perfect because it looks fake.
Right.
You know? Nobody believes a 5.0.
Right.
Especially when you have over 100 reviews.
Right.
You know? Well, anyway. Yeah, I didn't see any reply, but then I went to the site. It was back up to 5. I'm like, oh, they must have pulled it. And they did. Or that person just took it down themselves.
Oh, I doubt that.
It's weird because I replied to the question and he got mad at me for replying to the question. I'm like, dude, look at my reply, and I made him read it while we were on the phone.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, that's good. He goes, but you shouldn't even address. I said, because, well, her question was a respectful question. I said, then she came out with these motherfuckers in the review, but the actual question and the question and answer part was, why are you next to an elementary school?
What did you reply with?
The first part of the AI generated response. You can look it up. It's and actually I wish that it would allow more characters for the answers, because the whole answer was pretty cool. Hey, Matt. So, man, they tried to get me out to Streeter was trying to get me out to the strike today.
Oh, yeah.
Because you know, Jeep went on strike last night at midnight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, they picked the biggest plants from each car company. So they did Jeep, and they did in Wayne, Michigan, that big Michigan truck plant for Ford. And then they, I guess there's one other one that's not near here, but yeah, there was stringer assignments. At first, it was just like a $45, just get pictures of people protesting, and then boom, an alert comes across. They're like $130 if you could get an interview with an external mic.
Oh, damn.
Apparently, they were stopping a couple of the supply trucks from even entering the plant, the strikers. I'm like, yeah, some good stuff. Aaron was out there last night. Great Lakes Audit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when they first went on strike, because you know back in May he got fired while on medical. He's like, I mean, he still, you know, technically has a grievance going with him, but yeah, he went from making $30-something an hour to nothing. But he was literally on medical. They can do. Oh, yeah. So I turned off the hot tub last night, but then right before I left, I turned it back on, so it should be perfect for tonight.
Sweet. Finally got my seat. Got my hot.
I saw you got a little cup holder for us too.
Yeah, one each. It was like a whole set came together, and it came with like extra filters, and it was like cheaper to do it that way than like whatever. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm just doing this. And then I got like the aromatherapy for the like actual. It's made for the spa, so it doesn't like fuck with the like the pH or fuck with the filters or anything like that.
Sweet. I'm down. We'll do a hot tub stream.
Yeah.
You know, they actually have a hot tub category on Twitch.
Do they?
Yeah. The people on that obviously have a whole lot better bodies than I have. But... I just thought it was funny. I was like, oh wow, they actually have a category for this shit.
Nice. What's Buddy doing?
He's sleeping.
Sleeping?
Yeah, he was hamming it up there though. I met the new clinical person, Hannah. Wiped her computer, got Marvella's shit off of there, reinstalled everything. For some reason, Zahava yesterday asked me if I could set up on the printers at each location to where if Kelly needs to, she can scan right to her email. Oh, wow. You're in mid-yawn and it froze. It looks like you're sticking your teeth out. All right, that's better. You froze in mid-yawn. You're like... So she could scan right to her email.
Oh.
I'm like, well, yeah. I said the program, most of the printer software will allow you to do that. I said, but why is it a big deal to scan it to a file and then just attach it?
Right.
We're just trying to streamline the process. But not really. I mean, literally, click. I said, then you're going to have people accidentally scanning to her email. It just doesn't make sense to me. And usually when you do something like that, you have to put an email, assign an email to the printer.
Right.
I don't get it. Whatever. I'll just make up a nickname, a fake email. You can have that going to her anyways. So. Stupid. Well, I mean, I'm literally on my own computer. I scan shit every single day, but I have a folder on the C drive that says scan.
Yeah.
So everything I scan now, if I want to take, a picture, I move it to the picture files. If it's a document that I want to save, I move it to my documents. Or if it's just something I want to print real quick, I print it and leave it in the scan file folder. It's not hard. I don't know why folks always want to make shit hard. See them new that IPA I tried last night? Some new one from Ryan Guys. But they didn't have any tall boys at the Kroger, so I bought a little 6-pack of these Imperials, from the same people that make Truth. It's only like 1% more, but after 3 of them, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'll save these. Unless I gotta get up.
Well, I saw that the TV remote was on my altar, so I was like, okay.
I think I was just going back and forth between the bathroom or the office and there or something. Yeah.
Oh.
Or I just picked it up. You know, it wasn't lit. It's just like, nah, I don't want to take it too far.
So on Sunday, Alan is picking up some of our residential clients and taking them to a kickball tournament at EFE. And Oaks called me today and was like, can you come? And I was like, why? And he's like, because if you come, we can bill for it. I was like, what time? And he's like, it's 12 to 5.
Oh, because you're CDCA?
Yeah, I was like, I'm calling Jess to see how long I actually have to be there for. So I called Jess. I'm like, how long is to bill for this thing? How long do I have to be there? She's like, 3 hours. I'm like, ugh.
What time is it?
Do you want to go to? It's 12 to 5.
Do I want to go to EFE for anything? No.
Will you?
I'll think about it.
All right.
Make it worth it. But yeah. Which building? Which building?
I don't know. I have to find out for a minute.
Kickball? Are you kidding me?
Kickball.
What time is it supposed to be for?
I said 12 to 5.
Ah, football.
What time does the Lions play?
I think 1. We'll see. Depends how far away it is.
The EFE, bro.
EFE has a bunch of buildings. Now they took over the open door on the east side is EFE building.
Yeah, I'll find out.
I doubt they're playing there. That's like a tiny backyard.
No, I'm sure it's probably downtown. I don't know. I'll find out.
That's just their housing building that they bought from the open door. They need to get their nose out of fucking TJ's butt.
Who?
Isn't he? Does he work for EFE?
Yeah, TJ and Kim.
Yeah, I like both those guys, but
I say, TJ, don't call me with your bullshit. You're always calling me with your bullshit.
yeah,
Always.
just expect me not to answer after 11 p.m. Just leave a voicemail of your bullshit.
Yeah, text me with it.
Yeah.
We're gonna end.
Are you on the turnpike?
Yeah.
What mile marker are you at?
I am right by the construction barrels.
Oh, God. You know how many construction barrels I drive by between here and Cleveland?
Well, I know, but there's really only like one. There's really only like a span of construction barrels on the way home from Green Springs.
Oh, you're ahead of me then.
Trying to see a mile marker.
I just passed 78.
Show me a mile marker. So,
Which I think is.
in Wood County.
Oh, wow, you're way ahead of me.
I got 29 minutes.
I got 31.
Mile marker 74. Mile marker 74.
Okay, you're 4 miles ahead of me. You just got on the turnpike.
No. Nope. Been on the turnpike for about 15
I'm just
minutes.
now past the service plaza.
Oh, okay.
The Genoa one.
Yeah, I'm at the Stony Bridge exit 71, almost.
Yeah. Well, you're probably doing 10 miles an hour faster than I am, too.
Always.
One of us has to stay out of jail.
I don't go to jail, I'll just get a ticket.
Then more insurance money will come out. Those last tickets you got were no points. Alright, I'm coming up on your barrels now. I'm entering Ottawa County. Somebody mislabeled this barrel area as a hazard instead of a construction area. Oh wow, because it's right off some construction areas. Need that D3. Yeah. Yeah, it's nice sun today. It's gonna be cool tonight though again.
Yeah, it was cold. That's why you're like, why are the windows closed? Because it's fucking cold. And because it's fucking freezing when I get up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. You sleep good though when it's cool.
True.
I do anyway. I'm miserable if I'm hot when I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
Flipping and flopping, tossing and turning. Yeah, Pat. Coming up on 280 now. Toledo, next 3 exits. Yeah, sky's been pretty clear. There's some clouds in the air, but not bad. See them off to the west here. That's about it. I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do with that thing in the wintertime, though.
What thing?
The hot tub.
Use it.
So we got to pretty much leave it on all the time to keep it from freezing. Then.
I thought it was like not freezable or something.
What do you mean? It's water.
Oh no.
Jeez. I mean, I think if we just keep the pump itself on without the heater and just intermittently use the heater, it should keep it from freezing. But it ain't gonna hurt it to freeze on top. But we'll figure it out. It's fucked up. It's not. At least it's not $5,000 down there. I just think
Better not get fucked up.
It feels like the deck is kind of warping underneath it too. When I went in it the other night, I was like, "Ooh, that's almost like a seat here. This board sticking up so much." Worst case scenario, we'll drain it, put it in the shed for the winter. If it gets too hard to maintain. Oh shit! Why the fuck do I have? Wetness just got over the front of the shed. Ugh, that's gross. Where are we eating?
I don't know. Where are we eating?
I'm hungry.
Me too.
So wait a minute. What day is Alan supposed to be coming by?
Tomorrow.
Oh.
Why?
No, I'm just curious. So what is he? Is he just going to visit every day, or is he planning on like staying on the couch, or what?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably I'll probably like wash all the stuff in the spare bedroom and move the stuff off the bed in the spare bedroom, and he can stay in there, I guess.
I do need to go to Costco tomorrow. Dog food, cat food, kitty litter. God, I hope the dogs don't react weird to it.
I know. I don't think they will.
I would hope not. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, they seem to be cool with anybody we're cool with.
Yeah, the thing is though, it's just one visit and then boom, the next time he shows up, he's by himself. You know, I could see him getting dramatic about it. You know?
Yeah.
Oh well. Hope for the best.
I mean, it's kind of too late now to think about that.
Yeah, we'll already be in at least Pennsylvania by the time he makes his first alone visit there. So what he was thinking, what Dirty was thinking was about 2:00 in Pittsburgh. That way it's like an hour, and then we're only another 4 hours away from where we need to be.
Okay.
Should be still light out by the time we get there. That way it won't be too bad. Alright. I was figuring we'd just go to that same place we went to before, since it's that big open court.
Yeah.
It won't be a big deal to take the dog. And since he's certified now.
Right.
All right, well, start thinking about what you want to eat. See you in a bit. Since I'll be home in 22 minutes.
All right, I'm 19.
All right, love you.
All right, love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, guys. Almost home, Betty. Check out chat here. Nothing new. Let's pop up here. It's working again.
We got a she's in the lobby requesting all the check out
Friday, getting ready to rock and roll and close out the week. How are we doing? We've got Wendy K. We got Tanya's in the house. What's up, Tanya Karras? We got PFUS. What's up, PFUS? The Anti-Kiss time. The Anti-Kiss is here. We've got the Highland Bulls here. Indoctrination. What's up? Don't be hating. Viva Maga's in the house. Good to see you, Viva. We've got C. Reed's mom, Crash to Contraries here. Souson's in the house. We got Formers over here. We got a very handsome Sucks in the house. 18 pounds of furball goodness over there.
Why the sound cut out on that? Let's let me do both. There it goes.
In 3, 2, what's up, Rachel? And 1. All right, my friends. I just pressed the Let's Go Live button, so let's wait for the stream to fire up all across the fruited plain of the internet. Before we go ahead and wrap it up on this lovely, lovely Friday, we got to make sure the tubes are working before we start rambling off at the mouth. And it looks like they are, which is tremendous news. That means we can go ahead and get started. So let's do it, shall we? Hello, my friends, and welcome back to yet another episode of Watching the Watchers Live, the show that spotlights misconduct involving police, prosecutors, and politicians. My name is Robert Gouveia. I am a criminal defense attorney, and today we are talking about Jack Smith, and he is objecting. He says, "Objection, Your Honor. I don't want you to recuse yourself. I think you're outstanding. You're the best. You're fabulous, Judge Chutkan. You look outstanding today. I love what you're wearing. Don't go anywhere, because you are helping us obliterate our political opponents." And we've covered this before. The last week, maybe, we had read through, maybe earlier this week, I don't know, time's flying. Donald Trump submitted a motion for recusal.
going directly to Judge Chutkin, the judge presiding over the January 6th prosecution brought by Jack Smith. And it was a short filing, really, 9 pages, not that long. And most of the filing actually included Judge Chutkin's own statements from her other sentencings with other January 6th defendants, where she was scolding them. You almost insurrected America because of Trump. So 9 pages, a lot of Chutkin's own words. And then the government filed a response to this that's 20 pages, okay? Like they're blowing a gasket on this one. The roof come out from their house. Molly was on her keyboard just blowing out the gaskets there. But 20 pages in response, and they're actively like advocating for the judge, right? Rather than the DOJ just saying, well, Your Honor, we think that you're perfectly capable. We have no further comment on it, right? Just make your own decision, Your Honor. We think that you can do whatever you want. We don't have a position on this one way or the other. They could have gone that route. They didn't. It's 20 pages of Molly Gaston over from the DOJ explaining how Judge Chutkin is amazing. And we'll see if she highlighted that motion up or if there's any additional sticky notes in there. All in the first segment. Then we're going to talk about this letter that Hunter Biden's lawyer sent. And so we know earlier this week that Hunter got indicted, so-called, and this was apparently a big catastrophe for the DOJ. I think it's kind of a cover-up, and we'll see where it goes. But it is for a charge that is very minor relative to the criminal offenses that Hunter Biden has been actually involved in, and there's a whole book about him up there if you missed it. MarcoPoloUSA.org. They're being sued by this, and so check them out. But Hunter and his lawyers now are responding to Congress, and they sent a letter over to them calling them all sorts of bad things, saying you're manipulating the justice process. And by investigating how the executive branch, meaning Hunter Biden's daddy's government, why they are corrupt, you're interfering with justice. So we'll go through the full letter from Hunter's lawyers over to Congress. The whistleblowers and their lawyers did respond to this, so we'll see what they say about it. The Oversight Committee also issued a statement in response to Hunter's lawyers, a very aggressive statement. Ken Buck had a comment about this. He's really making no sense. He's having a difficult time, I think, connecting the dots here. We'll see if we can help. We've got the White House with some comments about this. Not only is Karine out there, but we've also got some Psaki to clarify what they're thinking on their side of the aisle.
Fucking peppermint
Biden
patty.
didn't take any questions about this, but he did have a speech talking about the union auto workers, and so we'll see what their reaction is to the Hunter Biden news. But there was this new clip that came out from Newsmax, and shout out to Greg Kelly over there. I think he's the one who broke this. And he found this clip of the old Biden bagman shuffle. See this happening here, what we're watching right now on your screen? That's Joe Biden talking with this woman. And this guy wants to have a deal with Hunty Poo. And so they do the old bagman shuffle, and they just maneuver themselves one step over so that they can conduct their nefarious business deals. You see how that happened? So we're going to go through that in detail. And it's a very curious exchange because they're actually about to do business with each other, and Joe Biden standing right there. Very curious. Curious indeed. Now, we'll go through that all in the second segment. And then lastly, we've got this story about this GOP lawyer. This guy is actually working, the reporting says, to help remove Donald Trump from the ballots in 2024. And so we've been talking about the Democrats and their attempts to do this, with Pencil Neck Schiff and others saying that it's appropriate to just have this newly discovered self-executing clause in the 14th Amendment that suddenly applies to Donald Trump because he's an insurrectionist. And Congress has already made their findings, and this is a
Guy
real
just standing right in the fucking lane,
launching lawsuits all over the country. And apparently, a GOP lawyer, this guy by the name of Jason Torchinsky, is going to be involved on the investigation, or there's something going on with him about this. So we'll see.
Hey, easy password.
What is happening here now? My switcher is not, the picture-in-picture is not working all of a sudden. What's happening here? My switcher's broken. Okay, 1 second. It was literally just working, wasn't it working? And now it's frozen. All right. Let me see if I can reset it while we're here. Okay, 1 second. We're doing a restore.
Really? That's crazy,
Gonna go
Chopper.
dark in a minute.
What are they freaking out about? Did you get another slap in the hand?
Yikes. Okay. It is not working. Okay, here's what I think the plan is. I have to.
Reboot. And he gone. He gone. Well, how's everybody doing? What's up, puppy? We're almost home, buddy. We should try this place. See some cars in the parking lot here today. Charlie's. What? You almost home? Huh? You almost home? Yeah. Hey, that's one thing about those type of complaints. Usually YouTube will at least identify the person who did it. Like anytime I've actually had a copyright takedown where somebody was pissed because they used their material. If I pretend like I'm going to appeal it, it gives me their info. Well, that's done. Oh, shit. Dude, why you gotta stop to turn here? No fucking plate. There you go. Yeah. Usually it's dark when I come down this way. It's a bad signal spot, but this hotspot seems to do okay with it sometimes. Most of the area to the right is part of what they call Oak Openings Preserve. Behind these barrier trees, there's like hundreds and hundreds of year-old oak trees. that stream that just got taken down. Yeah, I don't know what happened to this fucking stream. Let's see if it's working on Rumble. Hey, Con. I'll go live later. Definitely go live later. It's date night with the wife, so after that. But yeah, probably poker and we'll do a desktop stream. Maybe a hot tub stream. We'll see. I'm not quite sexy enough for that though. I'll bark. Yeah, we just got a new inflatable hot tub. I've used it a couple times. The wife's only used it once. We put it together Sunday. Yeah, I'll definitely be on later. It'll be on the regular name too, Indoctrination. I was kind of hoping that there was going to be a DUI checkpoint tonight, but I'm still not seeing anything. I'm going to check at dinner time. I'm going to double check the Facebook and the YouTube or the Twitter page, because the county, they have to post it if they're doing one. And then I try. Then again, I could make a few extra bucks going out to record to the strike. But Great Lakes' printer's got that covered. He's been out there. Okay. Just took off with a squeal. So, lots of things can happen, but either way, no matter where I'm at today, it's probably going to be live after dinner. Such a dangerous curve here. Not just because at night it's so dark coming through here, but there's an intersection right here as you're coming out of this curve. People a lot of times won't see somebody coming. I guarantee you that's where the next traffic circle is going to be. It's right there. Just to slow people down. Just get notification that the movement in the house, the wife's already home ahead of me a couple of minutes. Yeah, my house is all cameraed up. I got the German Shepherds that are there during the day, but yeah, just like any other dog, they can be suckers for a hunk of meat. You want to get in the house, all you got to do is throw them a steak. New best friend. Yeah, wifey's home. German Shepherds are barking at me in the backyard. Oh, you hear them? You hear your brother? All right, guys, I'm going to cut it. Thanks for riding with me. I will be going live again tonight on Indoctrination. Peace. What?